Up next, Damien Sandow comes out dressed as Bruce Springsteen, goes for a cheap pop from the crowd, and then Rusev cuts him off.
Yeah, you can tell that I'm kind of turning on Sandow here because Rusev pretty much comes down, and I laughed at Sandow when he got kicked in the face. I'm just so tired of him playing these acts every week that anybody that just puts me out of my misery watching it, I really approve of. So good on Rusev. And then Lana pretty much says, America, you use this holiday by singing pointless songs and this and that about how great your country is. Says the only thing that's impressive about you Americans on this day is that you can brag to the world about how much fatter you've gotten, and continues to run the country down until we are interrupted by a couple of real Americans, Ashton.
Patriot by CFO Money. One of the best theme
Absolutely.
songs that WWE's come out with in a decade.
My new favorite, as I've told you, it used to be for years Burning My Light by Mercy Drive, but it is now Patriot by CFO Money. Freaking love that theme.
It might make my top 5 of the current themes. It's definitely not as good as Bray Wyatt's theme song or Sami Zayn's theme song. Those are my go-to 1 and 2, or 1A and 1B, because Sami Zayn's theme song is just flat out amazing, and I feel bad calling it number 2 to anything. But yeah, it's definitely solid.
Definitely, definitely. With that said, Swagger and Zeb Coulter come out, and he pretty much says, well, Lana, if that is your real name. I love that he pronounces it like that when it's
I
so
know, I
dumb.
was just going to say, that's not her real name. You mispronounced it.
But he says, that there are two things that I hate. Illegal immigrants, which you probably are, and illegal immigrants who don't even appreciate what they have when they come into this country. And Zeb pretty much says, let me school you very quickly on American history. Who invented the internet? Wasn't a Russian. Who invented the automobile? Wasn't a Russian. Who got a man on the moon? And I'm glad he referenced this one because of the whole Cold War. Wasn't a Russian. The only thing that was worthwhile that you Russians invented was vodka. And by the looks of it, and before he can finish, Lana steps up and she's like, shut up! Shut up! And he's like, what? And she's like, I'm telling you to shut up! And they go back and forth a little bit more until Zeb finally is just like, hey, I'm gonna throw this down right now. Why don't you try taking on a real American and my boy Jack Swagger? And they're having this stare down. Soon there's like an upswell of "We the People" chants from the crowd that starts out pretty soft, but then really grows loud by
Well, I
segments
mean,
in.
at first, it's like they couldn't make up their mind whether they wanted to chant "We the People" or "USA," because it was like "We the People, USA, We the People," and it was like going back and forth like that. But then they kind of all were just like, "Okay, guys, let's take a minute, let's calm down, let's get coordinated," and then they came back with the hardcore "We the People" chants.
It was awesome. Really quite a moment. I loved how commentary built it as well, because it seemed like JB and Michael Cole, I don't want to say that they were necessarily in awe, but they were definitely like taken aback by this moment, and JB was just like, something's brewing here. Like they were really eagerly anticipating it, which I thought was a great emotion to convey to the television audiences. This is getting a nice build up for what I presume will take place at Battleground. Maybe a rematch at SummerSlam. I could very easily envision that. I'm liking the fact that this is getting time. I'm liking the way they're building to it. I love that Swagger has Zeb for a mouthpiece, because that's really helping this go by so much better. And yeah, I think these two could have a great match at Battleground. I hope I'm not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, here's my thing. I didn't have any problems with Zeb in this segment. Lana actually got on my nerves in this segment. Like, as flawless as she is as a physical specimen, you could really tell how inadequate she is as far as a mic worker goes when you put her across from Zeb Coulter.
Definitely, and that's why you don't really have, when you think about the people that have interrupted them in the past, it's never really been people who are really strong on the microphone,
Right.
because I think they're still trying to protect this duo. I mean, and JR has harped on and on, not in a negative way, mind you, but about how green both of these guys are as a unit, and just in this line of work just in general. So I think it's one of those cases of accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. And yeah, it was bound to come eventually where she'd be confronted with a more seasoned worker who would really expose her for her inadequacies on the microphone. That said, though, I still think she is competent enough and adequate enough to get the heat necessary to keep this feud going. Because
And
as
that's
long as
my concern, dude, because like when she cut Zeb off, she said "shut up" like 3 or 4 times in a row. It was starting to feel like I was listening to my 13-year-old female cousin.
maybe that's the vibe they're going for. You know, that this woman who seems so in control when she's standing on her soapbox, like running down our culture, our country, just this and that. But then, you know, if anybody affronts her, she just becomes all indignant, and it shows that Russia isn't as put together as she'd like you to believe. I would like to see her, you know, expand her promo content a little bit going forward. I think she's lucky. Well, I shouldn't say that. But I think where her strength lies, I guess is how I'll phrase it, is that you'll notice that a lot of her promos are socially relevant. She's always able to draw upon something, whether it be the NSA or in this case
I
it was
don't
the
know,
4th of
like
July.
it just feels like there's something off when she has like she's supposed to be this Russian sophisticate and then she says "shut up." Like "shut up" just seems like such a trailer trash term to use.
I really would have just made a hand motion while at the same time saying something like silence, like in a really commanding voice.
Or even like "shut your mouth," maybe. Like just "shut up" just seems like something that a 12-year-old hick from Alabama would say.
Right, right. I mean, I give her credit for doing it as well as she does. Hopefully she can work those kinks out, because I can understand where you're coming from. And, you know, these two are really going to be working off of each other, because I can't see Swagger and Rusev personally exchanging verbal barbs, so these two are really carrying it from the talking standpoint.
Right.
And it's not an easy task, you know, because you and I are interested in this match for a multitude of reasons, but we could very easily wane from it if we find that the promos, I don't know, are lackluster, or maybe they're not going to the levels that we feel like they can given the subject matter. So, you know, this is Lana's, I think, her first really big test in my eyes, and we'll see if she can rise to the occasion. Tonight was a rough night. We'll see if Monday
Yep.
night is any better.
Absolutely. So, we just kind of got the "We the People" thing going on, and then Rusev and Lana back down and walk away. That's about it.